Whether you are sharing a pizza, splitting a chocolate bar with friends, or trying to squeeze one more round into a gaming session, you are dealing with fractions. They are the mathematical rules for dividing up the real world fairly. Looking at the first section of our practice test, we need to lock in the baseline terms. Every fraction has two parts. The top number, the numerator, tells us how many pieces we actually have. The bottom number, the denominator, tells us exactly how many of those pieces it takes to make a whole. Take an improper fraction, like 7/4. The denominator tells us it takes 4 slices to make a whole pizza. By putting those pieces together in this diagram, we can clearly see that 7/4 is exactly the same as one whole pizza with 3 leftover slices. We write that as the mixed number, 1 3/4. The value of a fraction doesn't change just because the numbers get larger. We can prove this by looking at 4/8, 5/10, and 3/6. Even though the numerators and denominators are different, these diagrams show that exactly half of every circle is shaded. They are all perfectly equivalent to 1/2. Once you recognize equivalent fractions, you realize that different numbers are often just describing different ways of slicing up the exact same reality. Question 2 presents a classic trap. When comparing 7/8 and 7/9, your instinct might tell you that the fraction with the larger denominator is the bigger number. But looking at this diagram, we see the opposite is true. If you share a single pizza among 9 people instead of 8, every individual slice has to be smaller. Because the slices in the 8ths pizza are physically larger, 7/8 is greater than 7/9. For basic addition and subtraction, as long as your denominators match, they stay exactly the same. The real friction happens when operations change, specifically when dividing a whole number by a fraction, like 4 divided by 1/2. Dividing by a half does not mean cutting the number 4 in half. As the hint text points out, it asks a completely different question. How many halves can fit inside 4 wholes? If we draw out 4 whole rectangles and cut each one down the middle, we can just count the resulting pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 4 divided by 1/2 equals 8. Mathematical operations change their behavior when fractions are introduced. To avoid errors, you have to visualize the physical action the math is asking you to perform, rather than just looking at the numbers. Moving to the application section, the pizza problem asks what fraction of the pizza was left. The word left is your cue. It mandates a subtraction operation, requiring you to pull the pieces eaten from the total whole, which in this case is 8/8. The chocolate problem introduces another crucial translation rule. When a problem asks you to find a fraction of a set, like finding 2/3 of John's 12 candies, the word of tells you to multiply. Let's test this visually. Pause the video right now, grab some paper, and try to draw exactly what 2/3 of 12 candies looks like. To draw this, the denominator serves as our guide. It tells us to divide our total set of 12 into 3 separate groups. That leaves us with 4 candies in each group. To find our final answer, we look at the numerator. It tells us we need exactly 2 of those groups. Counting them up, we see that 2/3 of 12 equals 8. Word problems are essentially translation exercises. Identifying key words like leftover or of exposes the specific mathematical operation buried within the text. Question 6 is a bounded logic puzzle. It challenges you to find a fraction that lives exactly between 1/2 and 4/5. To see what exists between 2 completely different fractions, we first need to establish clear boundaries by converting them to a common denominator, in this case, tenths. This number line shows exactly what that looks like. Converting 1/2 gives us 5/10, giving us our lower limit. Converting 4/5 gives us 8/10, giving us our upper limit. We now have our solid boundary walls. Looking at the space inside those walls, the answer reveals itself. The only values that can possibly exist in this range are 6/10 and 7/10. Finding a common denominator operates exactly like putting on glasses. It brings hidden numerical relationships out of the blur and into sharp focus. Our final problem synthesizes everything. Helena has 3 hours of game time. Rounds take 1/4 of an hour, and she needs to know how many total rounds she can play. Helena calculated 3 divided by 4, resulting in 3/4 of a single round. Her logic is flawed. She divided her hours by 4 wholes instead of dividing them by 1/4. Since rounds take 15 minutes, she should be playing multiple times per hour, not less than once. These clocks show the reality of the math. We have 3 whole hours, and we divide each of them into quarters. By counting up every slice, we prove the true answer. Helena can play exactly 12 full rounds. Let's lock in the 3 core rules. 1. You must find a common denominator before you can accurately compare, add, or subtract. 2. The word of is a direct command to multiply. 3. Dividing a whole number by a fraction will always result in a larger number. Navigating these friction points moves you beyond simple memorization. You are now applying the logical rules that define how fractions